everyone, and welcome back to my channel, BethChatsBooks. Now today is going to be a video on my 2021 reading goals. So it is the evening here and I have had a hectic period of Christmas. We've had a lot of family here and my nana was bubbling with us. She's part of our social bubble, so she was allowed to stay over Christmas. So she was having to stay in this room with me, and so I haven't had much sleep. I have started with a cold, so apologies if I sound a bit bunged up, but I really wanted to just do this video on my 2021 reading goals while I have a bit of quiet time to do it. I am working. Tomorrow is the bank holiday, but I'm working and I don't know when I'll get time to do it, and it's relatively quiet and peaceful now, so now's a good time as any to do it. So I just wanted to say I hope you all had a lovely Christmas, and I will wish you a happy new year, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do another video and upload it before the new year. So have a wonderful new year wherever you are and however you're spending it. Obviously some people are already under COVID restrictions and in tier 4 in the UK, and I know in the US and Canada, Wales and other parts of the United Kingdom there are restrictions. So however you can spend your New Year's, please enjoy it, and I hope that you had a happy Christmas and spent it with your loved ones while the bubble rules were changed slightly for Christmas Day. Anyway, I'm going to get into my 2021 reading goals. So I am starting a course in January which will be a psychology master's course. I have mentioned this in a previous video, but this does obviously mean that I'm going to be taking a lot of my personal time up with studying and essay writing. So I'm not expecting to read as much as I did this year. I've read around 130 books this year. I think I'll have a definitive number when I do my favourite reads and when I do my December wrap up, which are 2 videos that will be coming out shortly. But it's around the 130 book mark. I'm not going to be able to do that next year. I think COVID allowed us to be able to do that because we weren't doing anything else. So I'm not going to put a number of how many books I want to read next year. I know it will be a lot lower, and anything that I do manage to read in between studying I'm going to class as a bonus. But there are some things that I'm going to try my best to achieve and to continue in 2021. The first one is the BarterHordes Book Club. Now I am a few months behind on that. The last one that I definitely read was The Women of Brewster Place. So I have 3, maybe 4 books I'm behind, but what I want to do is when there's a quiet period of time, catch up on those books. I need to order the Amy Bloom one, which is the January pick, and then hopefully every month I can just catch up and continue, because I think that would be nice to have a set book to read every month to keep me going. So I will be continuing with the BarterHordes Book Club, and hopefully I can catch up and then I can participate on Voxer probably from February onwards. I also have signed up to the BookTube prize this year, so I have asked to be a judge for both fiction and non-fiction. I did both categories for the 2020 prize and really enjoyed that. And I have kept up to date with a few 2020 releases, so for the BookTube prize of 2021 we'll be reading 2020 releases. So I'm hoping that for some categories I might have a head start, but it's a great way for me to find new non-fiction recommendations and picks, because this year I read a bit more non-fiction and was a little bit more into non-fiction and the current trends around that genre. So I'm hoping that again this year will be the same for that. But yes, I'm hoping to judge, fingers crossed, if I'm able to, every round in the BookTube prize, which will start at the end of January. And I think they're achievable, because I'm not going to give myself structured TBRs and a lot of pressure in terms of reading and numbers and goals. I think the BarterHordes Book Club and the BookTube prize, which is obviously created and organised by Robert, who is BarterHordes, has the channel on YouTube BarterHordes, I think I'll be able to achieve it, because it will only be a selection of 6 books over a series of 2 months. So I'll have plenty of time, and if I decide to just purely read those books while I'm studying, I think it's achievable. I think I can do it. Then I am hoping to try and follow a few book prizes. Now the three main ones that I followed this year and I follow most years is the Man Booker Prize for Fiction, the Man Booker International Prize for Fiction, and the Women's Prize for Fiction. Those I don't tend to keep up to date with as much, and by following them, what I mean is I'm hoping to read maybe some of the shortlist titles. This year for the Man Booker Prize I managed to read I think 3 or 4 of the long list overall, and luckily one of them was Shuggy Bain, which won. And I think in the next few months I might pick up some of the others in that shortlist definitely for the Man Booker Prize for Fiction. I'm also quite interested in the Man Booker shortlist for the International Prize for Fiction. So I've followed loosely a few of them. Same for Women's Prize for Fiction. I have Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, which won this year. And I kind of always keep my eye on them, but I'm not going to guarantee that I'm going to read all of the shortlists or the long lists, because I didn't even manage to do that this year, and probably this year was the best chance I ever had of doing that, but I'm going to keep my eye on them. So they're my bookish goals as such. Then there's a few pointers that I want to remind myself to do this year. So that is to use the library services a lot more, both physical and digital. So I have been using the BorrowBox app this year, the very first time I've ever used it, which is the library's online platform, which has ebooks and audiobooks. I listened to both audiobooks and ebooks on it this year. Really enjoyed that, found both of the formats very easy, and it had very current reads. So I want to continue using those and supporting my library that way, especially because with COVID the library shut many times this year, and so I had to rely on that service. But I also obviously want to keep continuing to use the physical library and visiting the library when I can do so. Fingers crossed in 2021 I'll be able to use the service more than I was able to this year. And then some brief readathons that I'm hoping to participate in. So obviously we've literally just had Non-Fiction November, but I really enjoy that readathon and it's so easy to do, and because I found non-fiction so interesting and engaging this year, and the non-fiction reads that I read through the BookTube Prize were just so interesting and compelling, and I've been really reinvigorated by that genre this year. I want to participate in Non-Fiction November in 2021, and hopefully through the BookTube Prize I can find a TBR of potential non-fiction reads to tap into by the time we get to November. And I also want to participate in the Past and Future Readathon, which is happening in January. Read a Book Gem and novels, two YouTube channels that are hosting that readathon. I'll link it down below so you can go and see their announcement videos. I think that's going to be very chilled out. You don't have to follow all of the prompts. I'm hoping I can at least squeeze some of the books that are already on my TBR into some of those categories and participate, because I really love readathons and I wish I could be involved in more. I was going to put that as a goal to actually get involved in more readathons, but because of studying this year, I just don't want to put that added pressure. So if there's any more readathons that I feel like I can actually participate in and that's feasible juggling work and studying, then I will do, but I don't want to set myself a target of loads of readathons and then just disappoint myself. So Non-Fiction November and the Past and Future Readathon are ones I'm hoping to participate in this year. And then I have a small little list that I've compiled of just extra possible pointers and goals to look at. So one, I've put I want to read more diversely. So although I'm not focusing on a number of books that I want to read in 2021, I really want to focus on having fun and just reading for fun and pleasure. Diversely is something that I'm always thinking of in the back of my mind. So for me, diversely means about different races, cultures, religions, more LGBTQIA plus reads, allowing me to think more thought-provoking reads, more about politics, culture, race, society, those kind of things. As I've mentioned previously, I want to read more non-fiction, and I'm hoping to try and tap into some of those chunky non-fictions that look quite big but have that really compelling, propulsive type of writing style where you just get completely immersed in it. Then I've put read more series, i.e. crime thriller series. And I've put here like Nikki French. I really want to read the Nikki French Frida Klein series, and I've also now collected all the Louise Penny Gamache books up to date. So if anything comes out in 2021, any more Gamache books come out, then I'll have to add them, but so far I'm up to date with that, so I would like to start that series. And there are a few that are knocking around. I've seen a few Scandi writers that are on my radar, and a few series that I've put on my want to read list on Goodreads so that I can start with the very first one. So again, any recommendations for crime series to start? I'm really in the mood to do that and to start new ones, because I had such a fun time with Tony Parsons' books this year, and I just want to find an author and a series of books that I can sink my teeth into and get familiar with and comfortable with and go on that journey. But also saying that, I would like to complete or progress further in some collections of books that I'm working on. So I still have 2 books that are part of the Tuva Moodysson series, which was The Dark Pines by Will Dean. I have 2 of those that I still need to read that are on my shelves. I am slowly working my way through the Nancy Mitford books. I have Love in a Cold Climate next, and then there's one more to complete the Pursuit of Love trilogy, which is a loose trilogy. I have the last book, Troubled Blood, in the Robert Galbraith series that I need to finish, and then if she writes any more, that's fine, but for me that's kind of completing up to date on that series. Then I read 1 Inspector Morse book, so I would like to continue through the library reading them. I read 1 Poirot book, and I would like to continue more with the Poirot Agatha Christie books. Then maybe a 3rd left of the Sherlock Holmes books. I have got the complete collection on an audiobook from Audible that is narrated by Stephen Fry, so I've probably got a 3rd of that left, which is a good chunk of hours, but I would really like to get that finished as well. And I'm sure there's loads more examples that I can't think of things where I've started and just not really completed or progressed further, which I would like to do. So that is everything for my 2021 reading goals. I would love to know what goals you've set yourself for 2021. I think because 2020 has been such a weird year, I didn't really feel any compulsion or invigoration to create any goals or things I want to achieve, because 2020 was the first year in my existence where any plans were just stopped. I've never known a year where people have just not gone on holiday, not been able to see loved ones, where shops have shut and all facilities were shut. So with that in mind, I think people are going into 2021 with a sense of trepidation. I certainly am, about setting goals and achieving things, because I just don't know whether that's possible, and also I feel exhausted from COVID. Just getting through 2020 was a goal and an achievement within itself, so I'm quite happy with just this very loose reading goals style video and style of plan. But I would love to know if you're setting yourselves goals for your reading in 2021, what you're going to be looking forward to. I'd love to have a chat in the comments. So that's everything. I am going to do, like I've said, a December wrap up. I'm also going to do my worst and best books of 2020 video, and I'm hopefully going to show you a Christmas book haul once my books arrive, because I've used some vouchers up to buy some books from Waterstones. So these are all coming very soon. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be back very soon with a brand new video. Bye now.